Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you all know, or those of you who don't, this is my channel. I am Willa, the Abundant Life Coach. So, today I'm going to tell you a little story. The story is um, my journey from fear to overflow. And it's going to be very touching for me. So, you got to excuse me, if I do shed a tear, I'm going to try not to, though. Speaking positive, right? This is the reason why I am who I am today. And I'm so grateful for who I am today. Have you ever looked in the mirror and didn't recognize the person staring back at you? That was me. And for years, I felt fear, pain, insecurity. Everything kept me hidden. But today, I'm standing before you as the Abundant Life Coach. And I want to share how I got here because my fight might be your freedom. So, for the past 20 plus years, I've been in healthcare. I built a successful business. And if you don't remember, I talked about that in another video, how I made $1 million and didn't even know it, right? I'm a wife to a handsome, very supportive, protective husband, and a mom of 6. We got 3 boys and 3 girls, all adults, y'all. No grandbabies yet. I'm waiting though. It's coming. It's coming. Um, on the outside, I was winning, right? I was hitting goals. I was, living that successful life. But on the inside, I was still at war with fear. I was, I felt strong in my business, in my life, all the way around. Like I felt like I can conquer anything. And it was an amazing feeling to me. But you ever feel like you had to be strong? Never soft, never free? That was me. I felt that I was losing out on my strength because I was trying to hide the pain and the fear and the trauma I was going through. So I'm going to speak about the fear and the trauma that I was hiding. Back in December, I remember the date, December 28th, 2021, I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy. Now, I'm going to go over that with you, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't see it. My sisters saw it. Because every morning I would go see my patients and I'd be on FaceTime with my sisters while I'm driving to and from my patients. And we're just laughing, giggling because, now at this point, everybody's working from home. Nobody's in the office. Everybody's working from home. So as we were talking and joking, they pointed out, they said, something's wrong with your face. What's wrong with your face? And I'm like, I can't look in the mirror. I'm like, nothing wrong with my face. What's wrong with your face? Because that's what we do. We joke around. We're sisters, right? So when I got to my patient's home, I parked and I looked in the mirror. I saw a little slight difference, but not a lot. Took care of my patient because he was the only one I had for that day because I had something else scheduled for the day. And on my drive home, my sisters called me again. Are you okay? Is everything all right? Can you see? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine, goofies. What's wrong with y'all? But they saw something that I didn't see. They saw the change in my face that I didn't notice. Cause I'm bubbly, I'm light. I don't look at things to be wrong with me. So I didn't look for anything. But when I got home and talked to my husband and looked in the mirror again, I cringed when I looked into that mirror. Because the thought of me my face changing in less than 24 hours freaked me out. It freaked me out. And I was like, what's going on? So my husband jumped up, took me to the ER. Around this time, COVID was still rampant. So when you were in any hospitals or anywhere, it's only like 1 or 2 person to a room. You can't have more than 1 visitor. And at this time, my husband had to stay outside when I had to go back. And I was scared because being in the medical field, I know the signs of a stroke. And some of the signs I was having were signs of a stroke. So, they rushed me back. They took my vitals. They called the neurologist to come and talk to me. And I was like, okay, what's going on? What is going on? He said, okay, smile for me. And I smiled. He said, smile bright, smile big. And I'm smiling, like I'm smiling, I'm smiling. He said, that's as big as you can go. And my heart sank. My heart sank deep into my belly button. It sank because the words from neurologists of that's how far you can smile was scary. So once he finally took me back, he notified me. He said, you're not having a stroke, but you do have Bell's palsy. And I'm like, what in the world is that? Like, I, in the medical field, 20 years, never heard of that. Never, because I didn't deal with it. So I didn't know. I didn't know anyone who had it. None of my patients ever had it. So I'd never actually seen it in person. So he says, it is a paralysis of the face. And he said, what you're seeing is that part of that paralysis. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because I got really scared. I'm like, okay, what is this? What happened? And he explained to me, how it happens and how it could happen and what the results may be. But I was still scared out of my mind because this was happening to me, everyone. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am an international speaker and I'm an international author, right? So I'm used to speaking to people. And I work with people every day. So it scared the life out of me because the symptoms to me, they were starting to come full force. This entire side of my face sloped. My smile changed. I can't blink fully. And I had to wear an eye patch when I went to bed because of the dryness in my eye. And then I started having pain in my right ear. And when I tell you that was the most severe pain, not like childbirth, of course, but that was one of the severe pains I've ever felt, besides childbirth. But it was so sensitive. Like, the leaf blowers outside after they mow the lawn, that leaf blowing was causing my eardrum to throb. My eardrum hurt so bad, I would cry, and my husband would have to hold me because it was hurting me so bad, and he hates to see me cry. So after that diagnosis, I could not run my business successfully. I couldn't work in my business. I had other I had other phlebotomists working with me, but I was unable to go out and see patients. I couldn't. I didn't feel safe driving. I didn't feel safe being in the presence of anyone. I just did not feel safe. And it was so scary. It was so scary. And I'm like, I don't see myself not being able to work, not being able to speak to people. Because when this occurred, when the symptoms start flaring out, for that first 2 weeks, I barely could speak for those first 2 weeks. I barely could form a full sentence without drooling because this side of my mouth was not working. I heard it in my own speech. I saw it in my own face. So I would wear an eye patch when I would be around my husband and my kids. And they all love me so much. Mom, you look beautiful. Mom, you're okay. My subconscious did not hear none of those words. And let me tell y'all something. I used to get so many compliments about my infectious smile. My smile lights up a room. When I'm feeling sad, I smile. People are like, oh my gosh, you made me feel so much better. That's why I'm such a people person, because I love to smile. I love the joy of helping others because it has always been my purpose to help others. But during this time, I didn't love myself. I didn't love myself. I did not like looking at myself. I mean, I'm telling you, I would do anything and everything so I don't have to speak to anybody. Um, Texting, baby, that was my thing. I text everybody. Don't call me, text me. Because I can text with no problem. You don't hear me speaking when I'm texting, but don't call me on the phone. I would have my husband answer, or I would have one of my daughters answer, because I didn't want to be heard. So that was part of the fear that was in me. So it's like, now I can't get out. I cannot go out and talk to people. I would be so scared to talk to any patient, to talk to any nurse, any case manager, anyone I get a contract from. I was so scared to talk to them. So I would always say, hey, can't talk on the phone, but we can definitely email back and forth, or we can text back and forth. It'd be easier for me, because that was my way of still communicating, but just not being heard, because I didn't want to do it. I was too scared. The fear of being seen, the fear of being heard, it stopped everything for me, because I wasn't me. I wasn't the exciting, loud and bubbly Willa. I was this silent little wallflower. And I just wasn't me anymore. So I figured, why? There's nothing else I'm going to do. I'm just going to stay in the house. And I pulled back from doing my book tour. I pulled back from doing my mobile phlebotomy. I pulled back from everything. Like I said, if you wanted to talk to me, you talk to one of my daughters as my admin, or we text and email. I could not let my voice be heard. I could not speak out loud to one of my contract phlebotomists. I could not. I literally, it hurt me so bad to my core. And it stopped me from living my purpose. So since I had been living in that fear convinced me that my flaws disqualified me for everything. But in reality, my flaws were my proof of survival. And that's one thing you got to understand. Fear will cripple you to your core. And I'm only speaking what I know, because I was there. It will drive you to not want to do anything. And it will drive you to feel like your power has been taken away. I'm telling you, it really stopped me for a second. Made me sit back and think, am I really worth it? Do I really have what it takes to run a business successfully? Does it really matter? Should I just keep going, or should I stop? Fear will make you think all of those things. But let me tell you what changed my mind and my heart. Mind you, this occurred in 2021. Well, I should say 2022, because my diagnosis was December 28th, 2021. And during that time, I was actually online for a sorority. And this was right towards the end. Do you know how difficult it was to speak everything I needed to speak and still be present? It was such a difficult time for me. And I didn't want to do anything, but I had to. I'm almost there. I'm at the finish line. My sorors, my line sisters held me up and held my hand, cried and prayed with me, because they knew how difficult it was for me to go through all this. Even though I told you I pulled back from my business, I still had to move forward in this. They did convince me that I should still, continue in the process. So this was so scary for me. I walked around with an eye patch. I only spoke, and I spoke very, very slow. Like, I made sure my words were yes, no, maybe. That is the tone I would use, because I was scared that I would, spit, lose my words, stop being able to speak. So I spoke very slowly when I crossed over. But I did. I crossed. But What helped me reemerge was because I was told I used my diagnosis as a crutch. I talked about it too much. Let me tell you something. You will never understand what someone is going through unless you go through it yourself. That's why I'm here to tell you my story today. You've gone through something and you want someone else who's gone through it as well and figure out how they got over it. And that's what I did. I didn't allow that person or persons, whoever, to stop me from keep moving forward. I still persevered because I know that they would never understand. And my thought was, your smile is perfect. You ain't got to blink 3 times to get your one eye closed. You ain't got to keep your eye wide open to try to close it. You don't have the difficulties I have when it comes to my face. It's not vanity. It's looking at yourself in the mirror. I have to look at myself every day. You do too, right? You know when you see things different. I've had this face all my life, and when it's different, it hurts. You can't just get over it. That's not how things work. But you can. See, that fear was speaking to me, telling me I will never be the same. I ain't gonna never change back to me. I ain't gonna never be a realigned, empowered woman. Why? Because of my face. I told fear, kiss it where you miss it. Because I had to come out of that. I had to reemerge into me. So that's when I said, okay, enough is enough. Enough is enough. I got back to work, but then I was missing one part of my purpose. And that was getting back talking to people, getting back out there, speaking. So I had to do a whole 180, because I had to do 180. I had to do a whole 180 and get out there and start speaking again. When I made my declaration, August 18th, 2025, I realized that abundance isn't about what's in your account. It's about what's in your spirit. And I said, okay, I've had success in my business, but I'm still missing a part of the abundance, because I told you abundance doesn't only equal money. It's in there, but it's not the only thing. So God showed me your purpose isn't in your face. It's in your voice. And I was like, okay, God. He said it's in your scars. It's in your ability to rise and show women they are not alone. That hit me hard. It hit me really, really hard. Because one day I was just up, and I was actually getting ready to print out my things for my client. And I said, man, it hurts. Because sometimes I wear a mask and sometimes I wear an eye patch. Because that's the fear keeping me from showing who I am. I know you probably seen my videos on TikTok. That's me fighting through my fear, fighting very hard through my fear. And that's when I said, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my abundance declaration. I spoke it, I felt it, and I spoke it more than once. And I said, okay, now I have 4 non-negotiables in my abundance declaration. Non-negotiable. Time freedom, location freedom, income freedom, and alignment with God. Those are my 4 non-negotiables when I spoke my declaration. Because I will not let my face stop me from walking in my purpose, from walking into my destiny. I refuse to let it stop me. So I said all that to say to you today, I understand how it feels to walk in fear and have fear stop you from being the best you that you can be. Believe me, I understand. I was there. I'm walking in it right now. I'm proof that Once you conquer and get over your fear and your, I don't want to say get over, let's use a different word. Once you conquer and release and heal from your traumas, there we go. Because it was traumatic for me. It was very traumatic for me. But once you conquer your fear, heal from your trauma, you can start walking in that abundant life that you always dreamed of. Because yes, believe me, I was scared to come out and tell my story. I was scared to start my coaching business because fear kept trying to creep in. My voice kept trying to tell me, no, you can't do that. What if this happens? And see, that's what fear will do to you. It'll bring up things that could happen to make you think twice about it. But you got to slap that away and get it out of your subconscious. Continue to tell yourself who you are. I'm worthy. I'm becoming her. Fear does not stop me. My voice has power. My vision will live. Those are all things I told myself. And now I feel so empowered. I just, it's a feeling that, wow, I held myself back all those years because of the fear that was tricking me into thinking I can't do it. But you can. And I'm here to tell you, I am Willa, the Abundant Life Coach. My mission is to help women heal from fear, step into freedom, and declare overflow. I'm telling you, it's an amazing experience, and you can do it too. You can be there, because I know how it feels to be afraid of being seen. And I also know what it feels like to rise anyway. So I want you to hear me, ladies, and hear me with your whole entire heart. If you feel invisible, if fear has silenced you, if you've been hiding because of what people might say, hear me. You are not alone. And you are not disqualified. You are abundant, worthy, and called. Say it with me. You are abundant, worthy, and called. Fear don't own you. You walk in abundance. I want you to remember those words because those are very powerful words. Those are part of my declaration, and I want it to be part of yours. Fear does not own me. I walk in abundance. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this video today. It means a lot to me that you're here. It means a lot to me that you heard me and that I've been seen. That's very important to me. And I want you to know that I have a free download for you. The Abundance Declaration, First Steps, is my gift to you to begin your journey. And join me here weekly for more teachings on walking an abundant life. Remember, abundance isn't something you chase. It's something you declare. I'm Willa, the Abundant Life Coach, and I'll see you in the overflow.